Hello, friends. Good afternoon. I hope you guys are having an excellent week so far. Things over here are going pretty well. Can't complain. I was straightening up my room this morning, organizing, bringing out some new toys for MJ that I had like forgotten about that I got like at my baby shower, and I'm just like, oh yeah, I should actually break these out and let him use them. And so I've been having a pretty good week, pretty good morning. Restarted the router, so the internet should be good, but we'll see. And so today, friends, we are going to be talking about the word tongues. And you might think that this is not a word that you would need to go over, but there's a little bit of miscommunication and a little bit of misunderstanding when it comes to this word, because my position is that this word means languages, and it's just a euphemism, or maybe not euphemism, but there's like a word that describes words where you like use one word or like use a part of something to describe the whole. I forget what that term is called. Um, but yeah, and so it just means languages. It just means, languages. And so, but there was somehow some confusion about this. And I think the reason why there's confusion is because people want to say that in the New Testament, where the apostles and the disciples, where they speak in tongues, they're speaking in some other like heavenly language that is not intelligible to humans, that you just speak to you and God. And that is not a concept that is found in the Bible. And so, yeah, I think like people just, I don't know, they just take they take one verse or they take one chapter even, and they just get carried away. And so we're going to go through every time this word is used and see what the Bible has to say about it. All right. And so only 34 mentions, but um, we're going to jump right in. So okay, I don't know what just happened. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where I left off with you guys or what you guys saw. I mean, I guess I could start from the beginning because I'm at my other screen. So, like I said, we'll see how the stream goes. I mean, you guys should understand that this is just how it goes over here by now. So, hey, gotta just roll with the punches. But Genesis 10:20. Oh, okay. So what I was about to say when I came back over to StreamYard, I was gonna tell you guys something, and I realized that my stream was shut down. Is that I feel like it goes without saying that tongues also means the literal body part. Okay, so when it says either it means languages or it means their actual tongues. So yeah, that's what I was about to say. But anyways, so start once more with feeling. Genesis 10:20. These are the sons of Ham after their families, after their tongues, in their countries and in their nations. Genesis 10:31. These are the sons of Shem after their families, after their tongues, in their lands, after their nations. Psalm 31:20. Thou shalt hide them in the secret of thy presence from the pride of man. Thou shalt keep them secretly in a pavilion from the strife of tongues. Psalm 55:9. Destroy, O Lord, and divide their tongues, for I have seen violence and strife in the city. Psalm 78:36. Nevertheless, they did flatter him with their mouth, and they lied unto him with their tongues. Psalms 140, verse 3. They have sharpened their tongues like a serpent. Adders, poison is under their lips. Selah. Isaiah 66:18. For I know their works and their tongues and their thoughts. I did it again. It shall come that I will gather all nations and tongues, and they shall come and see my glory. Jeremiah 9:3. And they bend their tongues like their bow for lies, but they are not valiant for the truth upon the earth, for they proceed from evil to evil, and they know not me, saith the Lord. And then our last verse in the Old Testament, Jeremiah 23:31. Behold, I am against the prophets, saith the Lord, that use their tongues and say, he saith. So God is against prophets that say, oh, God said, and God did not say. Okay. And so in the New Testament, Mark 16:17, and these signs shall follow them that believe. In my name shall they cast out devils. They shall speak with new tongues. Okay. New languages. They shall speak different languages. Acts 3:2. And there appeared unto them cloven tongues, like as of fire, and it sat upon each of them. Acts 2:4. And they were all filled with the Holy Ghost, and began to speak with other tongues, as the Spirit gave them utterance. Acts 2:11. Cretes and Arabians, we do hear them speak in our tongues, the wonderful works of God. Acts 10:46. For they heard them speak with tongues and magnify God. Then answered Peter. Acts 19:6. And when Paul had laid his hands upon them, the Holy Ghost came on them, and they spake with tongues and prophesied. And so, I'm always talking about how clear the Bible is, and there are difficult things in the Bible, but those are things that I usually don't talk about because they're difficult. And I try to keep this channel, a very base level. And so, a lot of the Bible is very easy to understand. A lot of it is very straightforward. It's very direct. And yet it still manages to get completely mangled by people. And it's just a good reminder that we truly wrestle not against flesh and blood. Like you talk to somebody and you say something like, my dad and I, we have been having this it's been kind of like this overall continuous argument that we've been having. But as of late, we've really been discussing, this idea of Abraham's bosom and paradise being some other place other than heaven. And it's like, I literally will show him verses where it says Elijah was carried up into heaven. What are you talking about? And he's like, well, I understand that it says that, but over here it says that he led captivity captive. And that means that there was a holding place and that's where the saints were. And it's like, that's not what it says. It just says that he led captivity captive. And so that does not equal a holding place, paradise not being heaven, Abraham's bosom. It's just it's not the same. And it's just you show someone a clear verse that says something explicit that Elijah was carried by a whirlwind into heaven, and no, over their head, don't understand, and then they want to tell you about some other stuff that the Bible doesn't say and try to force that on you. And it's just what are you talking about? I digress. And so, yes, this Acts is really the scene of the crime when it comes to people misunderstanding the word tongues. And so, when you look at it, when you look at all the different times that the word is used, and then also you could look at the word tongue, singular, but there's way more of those, and there's like a bunch of other stuff like that. That one is kind of more broad. But when you go to tongues every time in Acts, it's clear that it's talking about languages. It says that Cretes and Arabians are people groups who have different languages from each other and from the Greeks, and from Hebrews. And so obviously this is talking about languages. And this is not even like, because the Bible also says, like the natural man receives not the things of God because they are foolishness unto him. And it's like, is this even like a spiritual thing? Like, I believe that unsaved people can understand certain things in the Bible. Like, they can understand where it says there was a man whose name was John. Like that's not a spiritual thing that they can't comprehend. And so it really just boggles the mind when you see something like this and they just like, they still don't get it. And so I don't know. I don't know if it's just people aren't reading their Bible. I know that's a major issue, that people, they take what someone else says and then they don't look and check it for themselves. So that's a major point. But also I think it's just that, I mean, is that just a part of the spiritual blindness that God will bring to people? He will bring them strong delusion. I don't know. But it just blows me away. And so we're not even done. I had to go off on that little tangent. Romans 3:13. Their throat is an open sepulchre. With their tongues they have used deceit. The poison of asps is under their lips. 1 Corinthians 12:10. To another, the working of miracles, to another, prophecy, to another, discerning of spirits, to another, diverse kinds of tongues, and to their interpretation of tongues. So even though this isn't an Acts, how could we interpret tongues if it's a heavenly language that is unintelligible to humans? It's just not biblical. 1 Corinthians 12:28. And God hath set some in the church, first apostles, secondarily prophets, thirdly teachers, after that miracles, then gifts of healing, helps, governments, diversities of tongues. Okay. 1 Corinthians 12:30. Have all the gifts of healing, do all speak with tongues, do all interpret? 1 Corinthians 13:1. Though I speak with the tongues of men and angels, and have not charity, I am become as sounding brass or as a tinkling cymbal. 1 Corinthians 13:8. Charity never faileth, but whether there be prophecies, they shall fail. Whether there be tongues, they shall cease. Whether there be knowledge, it shall vanish away. Another little side note tangent. So Mario, whenever he would like do something and he would come back and apologize, I would say that, it's all right. I forgive you. And I would just say like, it's washed away now. Like we're moving past that. And I would say, the Bible says that, love, what is it? Love keeps no record of wrong. And he was like, wow, that's a really great verse. And I was like, yeah, it is. And then whenever I would do something and I would apologize, he'd be like, no, I'm not forgiving you. He was just messing around. And I would say, hey, I told you that love keeps no record of wrong. And then one day I went to go try to pull it up, and I realized that I actually memorized that verse in the wrong translation. And it doesn't say that love keeps no record of wrong. And when I pulled it out and I was trying to find the verse, I was like, wait, where is this verse? Like I know the verse. And I realized, I think it's in the ESV that I had memorized it from when I was a kid, going to an ESV using church. And so I was like, oh, so actually on second thought, I'm going to keep reminding you of all the bad things you've done before. So that just reminded me of that and how we had that discussion one time. But yeah. And so even though it doesn't say that specifically, I think that the idea is still there. So yeah, good to have you. Good to have you, Kane. Always a pleasure to see you in the chat. Okay, 1 Corinthians 14:5. I would that ye all speak with tongues, but rather that ye prophesied. Yeah, I would that ye all speak with tongues, but rather that ye prophesied, for greater is he that prophesieth than he that speaketh with tongues, except he interpret, that the church may receive edifying. And so this gives you the point of speaking in tongues. Okay. The point, like, it wouldn't even make any sense if you were speaking in tongues and it was just some heavenly language between you and God, because the whole point of speaking in tongues is to edify someone who does not speak the language of the main speaker, you know? And so it's like, oh, I'm just talking to God. You can do that at home. You can do that in your prayer closet. What is the point of God giving you the ability to speak in another language if a bunch of other people are around? So it's like, if no one's there to interpret, friends, it's gibberish is what it is. And I know some people who subscribe to that, who, I think that, they're nice, people who are saved, but it's just like, it just makes no sense at the end of the day. Um, and so, yeah, there's that. And then another thing is that people, who go to these churches that are really big into speaking in tongues, they're not soul winning. These are not churches that go out and evangelize and give the gospel. They're just in church, for like 5 hours. Because these churches that like do speaking in tongues, like, they're in church for a really long time. And I'm all for, a long sermon, God bless it. But I mean, these people are in church all day. And so they're like focusing on all the wrong stuff and not getting back to what's most important, which is prophesying, which is soul winning. You're spreading the gospel. Okay, that's like an afterthought because they want to just talk in the languages all afternoon. Anyways, 1 Corinthians 14:6. Now, brethren, if I come unto you speaking with tongues, what shall I profit you, except I shall speak to you either by revelation or by knowledge, or by prophesying, or by doctrine? 1 Corinthians 14:18. I thank my God I speak with tongues more than ye all. 1 Corinthians 14:21. In the law it is written, with men of other tongues and other lips I will speak unto this people, and yet for all that will they not hear me, saith the Lord. 1 Corinthians 14:22. Wherefore tongues are for a sign, not to them that believe, but to them that believe not. But prophesying serveth not for them that believe not, but for them which believe. 1 Corinthians 14:23. If therefore the whole church be come together into one place, and all speak with tongues, and there come in those that are unlearned or unbelievers, will they not say that ye are mad? Yeah, and that's exactly what it looks like. It looks like they've gone crazy when these people, they speak in tongues, and they're not even speaking in tongues. They're, like I said, it's gibberish. But yeah, it looks crazy if you don't know what's going on. 1 Corinthians. Hold on a second. Hold on just a second. Hey, Joshua, good to have you. I need to make sure MJ isn't waking up, so hold on just a second. It truly never fails. It never fails that when I'm trying to stream that he wakes up. But anyways, so he's here with me now. Okay, where was I at? 1 Corinthians 14:39. Wherefore, brethren, covet to prophecy, and forbid not to speak with tongues. Revelation 7:9. After this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude, which no man could number, of all nations and kindreds, and people, and tongues, stood before the throne, and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes, and palms in their hands. Revelation 10:11. And he said unto them, Thou must prophesy again before many peoples, and nations, and tongues, and kings. Okay, and so since we're in Revelation, there's probably only like one or two more. Okay, 4 more. There we go. All right. Revelation 11:9. And they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves. Revelation 13:7. And it was given unto him to all make war with the saints, and to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. And this is speaking of the Antichrist. Revelation 16:10. And the fifth angel poured out his vial upon the seal of the beast, and his kingdom was full of darkness, and they gnawed their tongues for pain. And then lastly, Revelation 17:15. And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. And so, yes, friends, that is our study today about the word tongues. And as I always encourage you guys to go back and read these on your own time and, study to show thyself approved unto God. What you clearly see is that this is either, the physical body part, or it is languages. And it is languages that are to be spoken, with an edifier or with a translator present to edify the body. And so, yeah, this is really just the point of, why I do these, whenever I get around to them. I was about to say every week, but it's not even close to every week. But that's the reason why I do these, is so that, we just understand what the Bible says. Because there's just so much false doctrine in the world. Like, it seems like everything that you can teach, everything that, the Bible says, there is false doctrine about it. Kane says, very interesting stuff. It sounds like it's an interpretation of the word language. Yeah. It's just like, it's like the word paradise. When Jesus says, today you'll be with me in paradise, it's just, I don't know if the word euphemism is the right word to use, but it's just a picture. Like, it's just a symbol. Like, it's not being completely literal. It's just figurative language. To call it that. And so, yeah, it just means languages. Like, the Bible is very poetic, and I think I'm planning on doing a video about that at some point, about how the Bible has a lot of poetry. And then also it's very, because it's human yet it's divine at the same time, just like Jesus. And so the Bible, it talks about spiritual things, it talks about deep spiritual truths, but it also talks about them in a way that's how we talk today. We as people, in 2025 America, use a lot of figurative language when we talk and discuss things. And so, people understand that. And then when you start talking about the Bible, their brain shuts off and they're just like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't understand. Tongues. Oh my goodness. No, you cannot have this pen. Oh my gosh. And people just don't understand whenever it gets to the Bible. Like, they act like they've never understood. They've never heard of a simile. They've never come across a metaphor. It's just all foreign. And it's just like, what in the world? Kane says, it is a lot of the phrasing has changed over time. A lot of the phrasing has changed, but it's not to the extent that it's unintelligible, So, like, a person can understand it in context. Like, if you take a word, like James White did, he had like this list of, these, archaic words in the King James Bible. And it's like, yeah, you might not understand what a besom is just looking at it on a page. But if you read it in the verse, then you'll understand when it says to like sweep up with a besom. Then it's like, oh, okay, a besom is like a broom. And it's like, yeah, and it's just like, when you just sit down and read it, like, it looks a lot more daunting. And I feel like I'm the kind of person that that happens to me a lot, is that I'll look at a task, or I like have things that I know I'm supposed to do on the day or whatever, and it feels very daunting until you actually start doing it. Like, as you guys know, I'm living with my aunt now. My aunt Okay, are we back? Can you guys see me again? I was saying that here, like we had decided, like, okay, we're gonna put a bunch of stuff in these bags and take them to the thrift store. And literally, this stuff sat in these bags for like months. Okay, we're back. Stuff sat in the bag for months because neither of us just like actually sat down and were like, okay, now we're gonna take stuff to the thrift store. And so, yeah, like in your mind, you can build up some things like, oh, the King James Bible is hard. Oh, the King James Bible, it's too advanced. Oh, I can't understand it. Or just the idea of reading the Bible, from cover to cover. It just feels like a really daunting mountainous task until you just start to do it. And then it's like when I took that stuff to the thrift store, it was like, oh, that was really easy. Like you just pull into their, drop off area, and the person just you open your trunk, and the person just takes your stuff out for you. It was nothing. It's like, why did it have to sit in the house this long? And so, it's the same thing. It's like, the King James Bible can feel daunting, but it's really not that scary. Is the bell pushed for you, EAE? Do you have the notification bell pushed? You should know better by now. But no, even if you had push the bell, it probably I was supposed to go live at 12. I didn't go live till 1, so internet was messing up. Anyways. But yeah, and so yeah, that's about that when it comes to tongues. So, anyways, that's what I was saying. So now we're getting into our prayer requests. I don't have my phone in front of me. I know it's a major shock. I always have my phone, like it's always attached to me, but I don't have my phone in front of me right now. But I know that we had some prayer requests that we had for a while. So like my friend Brian, his foot is all better now. So he is healed and doing a lot better. So that is an answer to prayer. Um, Kate says, I definitely should have paid more attention in English class or read more books. Hey, I like the English language. I like, words, and I like vocabulary. I think those are interesting things. I like the study of how we put words together. I just think that language is interesting. But even if you don't, that's okay. Because, you don't need to read a lot of books. If you want to start reading books, the first book you need to jump on is Genesis, okay? Actually, just kidding. Probably the best book to jump in would be the Book of John, in all seriousness, because that's like the easiest, most simple book in the whole Bible, and it's not too crazy long. So yeah, that's where you should start. So if you want to get into books, I got 66 I can recommend for you right now. Oh man. So yeah. No matter where you are, you pick up the Bible, you start reading, and it'll take you where you need to go. It'll pick you up where you want to be. And if you guys saw the video that I posted on Monday about me going soul winning, at the very end where I have the words on the screen where I'm like, I was talking to some people and I forgot to press record, or the conversation wasn't very fruitful. One of the people I was talking to, that the conversation was actually pretty decent, but like as you could hear throughout the video, like the audio was muffled because I don't know why it was muffled, but it was. And so the conversation was too muffled, so I couldn't even redeem it with editing it. But one thing that he was saying was that he was like, oh, what college did you go to? And I'm like, I didn't go to college. And he's like, wow, like you just talk so clear, you just speak so well. And it's like, I read the Bible. The Bible makes you smart. A lot of times college makes you dumb, but we're gonna talk about that another time. um Okay, let's see. EAE says the freedom bell is pushed, but I keep notifications off on all apps on my phone except text messages. Oh, okay. That's pretty good. So you're not always being bogged down with notifications from your phone. Okay. EAE says he needs a mental health prayer request. Okay, so we are adding EAE to the prayer list. That's great. I mean, it's not great that you're feeling sad, but it's great that you are coming to us and we're going to pray for you. So yes, everyone, please lift up EAE in our prayers this week for his mental health and for his salvation, because we are going to get EAE saved. Okay, that is something that's going to happen. So let's pray for him. Good to have you, Imperious. Always a pleasure. He says, well, he quotes, "Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, because I am gentle and humble in heart, and I will find rest for your souls. You will find rest for your souls." That's a great verse. It would be even better if it was in the King James, but I digress. Okay, my son is trying to make a getaway. MJ, come back. Come here. Come here. I don't know if you guys can see him. He's like over in the corner. Come here. Where are you going? This is one of the new toys that I broke out for him today. All right. It is the King James. No, it's not. The King James says, "All who are weary and heavy laden," not burdened. Am I tripping? Does it? Is it burdened? I might be wrong. I feel like that's not right though. But maybe, I mean, if you looked it up and that's what it said, then that must be right then. But honestly, so I'm going to be doing like a 6-month update of how I've been doing. You know, being a widow for 6 months. That'll be next month. And honestly, like that is like a major theme of the video, is just how, like, you know, some people expressed to me in the very beginning, they were like, "Oh man, you know, I'm sure this is so hard for you, you know, having to raise now your son by yourself." And it's like, yeah, I mean, being a single mom is something that I intentionally never, you know, saw myself being, and that's why I made certain decisions in my life. However, you know, I feel like this period would be so much harder without MJ, because he brings me so much genuine and pure joy. And it's like, yeah, you know, it's a struggle when he's like fussy and I'm trying to do stuff and he needs my attention and I want to do other things, and like it just seems like, you know, the day is getting real old. But when I look at him every night and he's sleeping, and when I look at him every morning when he wakes up, it's just like I have the greatest blessing. Like my life, everything's gonna be okay, you know, and that's genuinely how I feel. EAE says, I would have probably crashed out if I were you. I'd be heavily medicated in a mental asylum. You were strong. People say that, you think that. And I mean, you don't know how you're going to feel until the rubber meets the road. And so, I mean, I don't think I would have imagined myself doing what I've done and being how I am in the circumstances. You asked me a year ago, who would react in the wake of being a widow, and it's just like, I'd be devastated. I'd be somewhere, just in a ball. But when you actually get put into that situation, then you realize what you're made of. Imperius wants me to tell EAE that he will not be happier being a Coomer gremlin. Okay, I know what a Coomer is, but I don't know what it means to be a gremlin. Literally. That reminds me. Okay, we're really getting off track. We're supposed to be doing prayer requests right now. But one more funny story is oh wait, maybe I don't know what yeah, I do know what a Coomer is, because a Coomer is the same thing as a goon, right? I feel like I sound crazy, but that reminds me of, I said before that Mario had actually just recently bought a PS5. Like the Sunday after MJ was born, he bought a PS5, and so he was playing that a lot. And so I decided that, I'm going to play it too, so that way we can play together and, have that time together again. And eventually, he was like, "No, you're not any good. You're going to mess up my KD, whatever. You can't play with me." So, but before then, I had made my username, and my username was Jenny the Goon, or Jin the Goon. Because, I feel like I'm already being outdated. Like, I'm just 27 and I'm already a dinosaur. Because when I was coming up, back in my day, a goon was someone who was vicious and terrifying. And that was kind of the presence that I wanted to bring when I was on Call of Duty. But now goon does not mean that at all. Okay. And so when I realized that, I was like, oh, wait, I need to change my name. So yeah. That is something that I had to think about. And I was like, wait, no, that's actually not what I want to convey at all. Oh my gosh. Yeah, same. I'm not a fan of the Zoomer term for goon. No, no, I like the old one. That's what I mean. I like the old goon reference, from like the song A Millie. That's the reference to goon that I'm referring to. But anyways, glowing in the dark. I started like I got a care package from some of my mom's friends, and they gave me like some skincare, and I actually finally started using it because I just hadn't used it. I don't know why. I don't know. I don't really take a lot of like personal care of myself. Like I only recently started getting my nails done again after like 4 years of not really ever getting my nails done. And so yeah, the kit, it comes with moisturizer, and so I've actually been using moisturizer, and I don't look like a raisin. So yeah, it's really awesome. But okay, so we were getting distracted. So my friend Brian, he is out of his foot boot, not a cast, but it was like a boot, and so he's doing better. So that was an answer to prayer. Um, and I have another friend who her mom had a foot injury, and I think the foot injury is doing better, but her mom has now she is coming down from having pneumonia. So please pray for my friend's mom, who is recovering from pneumonia. Um, Gosh, we had a few people on the list. I know one friend, she had to have surgery, and then I think she caught pneumonia or some type of respiratory thing. Man, I can't remember now, but I think that she's still recovering from. I want to say she had pneumonia too. So pray for her. And oh, my car's in the shop. I don't know if I mentioned that to you guys yet, but my car's in the shop. Oh my gosh, it's just one thing after another with this car. Like when I was away, it got towed, and then when I got it out of the tow yard, the timing belt snapped, and then now it needs a. When the timing belt snapped, it bent one of the valves, and so now like the top half of the engine has to be replaced. MJ, MJ, come here, come here. So yeah, the top half of the engine on my car has to be replaced, and then the AC went out, so I told them to fix the AC, and it's just like, gosh almighty, it's like, what in the world? So that is happening. It's like sucked up, a lot of my money, and so, anyways, I'm just waiting on my car to get back, and then we'll see where that's going from there. See, hopefully that'll be the last major thing that it needs. And then also, oh my gosh, obviously pray for the Kirk family. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I almost forgot that. Pray for Charlie Kirk's family. Um, and pray that, some good comes out of it. I'm not going to say one way or the other, whether or not I believe that he was saved, because I don't really have an opinion. I mean, he said things that seemed like they were valid, and then he said other things that, were contradictory. And so it's like, I don't know at the time of these events, like, because if he believed something wrong before and then he changed and believed something right, then that would mean that he was saved. But then I don't know the timing of those videos. I don't know. So I'm not making any judgments on that. But I know that he said a lot of stuff that was right. And, it seems to be a lot of good already coming out of it. So let's just pray that, God works in that situation and moves over his family and moves over the country, because it's getting scary out there, folks. I mean, honestly, like literally today, I'm in this group chat, and one of my friends in the group chat, he sent this video, he sent a meme, and it was like me seeing one of my extremist friends in person, and it was like, Christ is Lord. And it's like, Christ is Lord. And it's like, I used to have a decal on the back of my car, like a big sticker that said Christ is Lord, on my first car I ever had. And now I honestly don't even know if I would feel comfortable putting that on my car like today. Like if I were to get that decal again and put it on my car, I'm not even sure if I would feel comfortable doing that, because I feel like someone would intentionally just like take a sledgehammer to the back window of my car. And the last thing I need is another issue with my car. And I just feel like people have gotten so crazy and just unhinged and violent. It's like, I don't want to put any like pro-life bumper stickers or like, Christ is king. Like I don't feel comfortable putting any of that on my car, because these people are nuts. They have no, it's not even that they don't value other people's lives, they don't value their own life. Okay. So I wholeheartedly believe that someone would slam into me at 100 miles an hour and possibly hurt themselves in the attempt to try to hurt me because I have like a Christ is Lord or a abortion is murder sticker on my car. I genuinely feel that way. Um, yeah, like, yeah, you never know. It's just like, I feel like people are just so beyond crazy. And it's like, hey, Imperius says he's wearing a Crusades shirt today. I mean, I would still wear like a t-shirt. Like I have a former fetus, and I wear that because if anybody wants to do something to me, like like step to me one on one, it's whatever. But I gotta protect my car. I need my car. Like right now, I would, after I'm done with the stream, I would like go out and run some errands, but I can't because my car's in the shop and my dad is out and I use his car to drive. And so, yeah. Your ass gonna get rammed. I mean, yeah. And it's like, I see, MJ. And it's just like, I see those like stupid blue and yellow equal signs, and I see the coexist sticker, and I see all of that, the blue and yellow flag, the Ukrainian flag. I see all that stuff. It's like I never get the urge to slam into somebody or beat somebody's car because I see. Are you a ham? Is that what you want to? You want to see your loving audience? You want to see your fans? They said they want to let you talk. What you gotta say? You got a prayer request? I don't know. Anyways. But yeah, I see all types of like, like whatever. But I really don't know. I don't know if it's worth it to have something like that in your car nowadays. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm just a chicken. Maybe that's what they want. They want us to, be in fear of that. But I don't know, folks. I don't know. But so yeah, pray for the Kirk family. Also, pray for the Rowe family out in Arizona. A faithful brother in Christ named Kevin Rowe. He was struck by a drunk driver one morning, on Sunday morning, and he succumbed to his injuries from that, and so he passed away. And so pray for his wife, Lola, and they have a daughter, a little girl named Phoebe. And so pray for that family. They need all the prayer. And in the video, in the description of the soul winning video that I did, they have a GoFundMe. So if you want to donate to that GoFundMe, it's a very worthwhile cause. So yeah, pray for them as well. Gosh, what else? I think we might have had some other things on our list, but I can't remember now. So yeah. Makes the choppy video, can't see MJ. Look, friends, I don't know what I'm gonna have to start doing. I might have to start doing these videos at the library. And just going to the library to do these because the internet here is not reliable. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm always trying to improve. So anything I can do to try to step up my game. Oh my gosh. Pray for our financial issues. We're broke. Hey, I mean, I'll pray. Ain't nothing wrong with praying for, resources. The Bible says, I forget exactly where it is. I feel like I just saw it the other day though. But basically that, the right thing to pray when it comes to your finances is, Lord, give me neither poverty nor riches. Okay, praying to be rich is wrong. I don't know if I feel comfortable saying it's a sin, but it's bad. Okay, you should not pray to be rich. You should pray that you'll have all your needs met and that you won't be destitute. Okay, that is the right prayer when it comes to your finances. And so I will pray that all my viewers will not be destitute, not be hungry, and have all that you need. Oh my goodness. I have MJ in this new outfit that my mom gave him. And she likes to buy things that are like his neck size up. And so his pants are like sliding off of him. And I tell her, I'm like, Mom, he's in 9 to 12. And she buys him 12 to 18. And it's like, he'll wear it for a long time. So that's good. But it's like, Mom, she's like being swallowed up by his clothes. But you guys can't even really see just how cute his little sweater is. Like it's almost like a sweater vest. I don't know if you can really see. It's not really showing up on camera, but it's really, really cute. I love The Lost. Okay, I have a very strong desire for The Lost, and I do love EAE, even though he's lost. But I love him so much that I'm going to pray for him and try to convert him. Imperius says that a prayer should never be to ask for something. It should be, Lord, I place my trust in you, and all things will commence at your pleasure. Well, we are to pray, God, your will be done, not mine. So we should pray that. But there's nothing wrong with asking for things. The Bible is always prayer in the Bible, oftentimes, if not all the time, is people asking for things, people asking to be, to prevail in battle, people asking for, children, women asking, to get pregnant, people asking for, loved ones to be healed. That's what prayer is. It's asking for something. But we should always caveat it with like, God, please give me X, Y, and Z, but whatever your will is, I pray that your will would be done. Yeah. Yeah, that's how you pray. I'm going to teach you. I'm going to teach you how to pray. But yes, friends. So those are the prayer requests for this week. And that is the stream. I appreciate we had a pretty good turnout today. I'm glad. Maybe 1 o'clock is a better time to go live instead of 12. I don't know. You guys let me know what time works better for you. I could also start doing Every Word Wednesdays in the evenings, like how I do the Fundamental Fridays. So as you guys have seen, I've changed the name of the channel and of Fridays with Mrs. Jenny. Those are now Fundamental Fridays. So if the evenings work better, let me know. I can always modify. EAE says, do you think that MJ looks more like Baby Mario or Baby Jenny? I have no photo reference to have an opinion. I could post pictures of Mario and I on my community tab and have you guys vote on it, because I feel like it depends on who is given the opinion. Like people that knew Mario when he was a baby, they think that MJ looks like him. And then people that knew me as a baby, they're like, oh, he looks just like you. And it's just like, well, you ask my mom, well, Mario and I looked a lot alike. So it makes sense that MJ looks like a complete mix of us. But I'll post that in the community tab and let you guys vote on that and see and get some antique Mrs. Jenny. You look so much like your mother. I see where you get your looks from. I'm gonna tell my mom. She already likes you, EAE. She thinks that you're a hoot. In that video where I talked about going to the Black Rodeo, and your comment about don't blame that guy because it's not every day you get to see a 6 foot beautiful Jenny in the wild or something like that. She thought that comment was so funny. She said she wanted to put that on a t-shirt. I was like, Mom, stop. Okay. But yeah, she likes you a lot, EAE. So I'll tell her what you said. Well, I love you guys too. I really do. You guys are such a community. You guys are such a village, and support me and lift me up. And I'm so thankful. I can't say thank you enough, really. Away from your mom. Okay, guys, I'm heading out. It's time for my daily walk. We're going to see if we can pass out any more tracks. I finally got the tracks from my actual church and not the one out in Washington State. And we're going to get our steps in. So, yeah. Be sure to like the video on your way out and leave a comment if you haven't already. Every child should know that, man. Yeah. Yeah. You want to watch the Mr. Rogers? He's watched Bluey. He likes Bluey. I mean, he likes anything on TV. I mean, because I don't watch TV, so he only ever sees TV in like other settings. And so he's like, what is that? But yeah. So, yeah, we can put you on some Mr. Rogers. All right. I'll talk to you guys on Friday. Say bye. Say bye. Alrighty, y'all.